Let's get weird, buddy. Let's get weird.
Guys, where are we?
Well, if there's a bright center of the universe, you're on the planet that's farthest from.
Welcome to the Outer Rim. Enjoy your stay.
Here come the heroes to save the world from destruction. They are X-Men.
Previously on X-Men.
Let's fucking go. All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. This is Rob here at Smirking Gun, and we're back talking comics. More specifically, Wolverine comics as usual. And even more specifically, we are talking about Predator versus Wolverine number 4, the final issue of this really fun Benjamin Percy crossover book, where after Fox got the rights, or Disney, sorry, Disney got the rights to all the Fox properties. They've been getting around finally to the Aliens and Predator franchises for the last couple of years, pretty strong. And it was only a matter of time before they started crossing over with not just having their own stories, but crossing over with characters and from the Marvel universe. We've got Predator versus Wolverine. We have Predator versus Black Panther. There's going to be a Predator versus Spider-Man book that I read about and I'm into, and we'll probably be talking about on the channel. I do believe it's Ben Percy's first time really writing Spider-Man, besides I think a one issue in his run of Wolverine. And then you've, of course, got Aliens versus Avengers with Jonathan Hickman, which is slowly coming out, same as his Wolverine Revenge book. And that's a really fun story with really good art. But today we're finishing Predator versus Wolverine, and I've been enjoying reading all of this. I love the different artists for the different time periods. And he's given the Predator a bit of in this story, learning from Wolverine and, giving us the whole snicked thing with his own claws. It's adapting Wolverine's attributes. And is this something, look, I don't know if I've said this before. I don't know if this story's canon, but it's just fun and cool to think that in this fight somehow in Predator lore now, it's a little rewritten that possibly the reason they have those claws, or at least some of them do, is because of Wolverine. It's just fun, canon, head canon, however you want to put it. It's just fun stuff. And what the two characters I think that are the most interesting, the most interesting character to fight a Predator would be Wolverine. And so it's just been a lot of fun. But can Benjamin Percy stick the landing on this? Is it just going to be, does it have anything broader to say, or is it just a fun action, throwback? And I'm here for it either way. Like I said, the different artists portraying different eras of Wolverine's life has been really fun. We started with Greg Land's in the Klondike, Wolverine just figuring out his powers. We've been with Team X in the jungle, a la Predator 1. And I'll say that the Klondike story was very much reminiscent to me of the movie Prey. And like I said, the Team X one feels like Predator with Schwarzenegger in it. We've got the Predator stalking him at the Weapon X facility. And we've got the present story that we've been dealing with, where it's kind of telling Wolverine's had it. It's how a lot of episodes or movies will start and then go 48 hours later, except this one goes back 100, probably over 100 years. Well, definitely, I would say. And now we've got the Muramasa part of this that could also be rewriting a little bit of Wolverine's history too, because if I'm not mistaken, right, I believe that they never actually said, or we've never seen Wolverine training with Muramasa. I'm not 100% on that. The research that I did seems to allude to not having been trained under him. So is this taking some liberties? Is this making it more of an Elseworld story? Again, like I said, canon, head canon, as long as it's fun. And that's where we left off. We've also seen like the Predator brought other Predators with him. We haven't seen any of the other ones since the Team X story. But it's also been fun to watch like this young Predator with like aging and learning along with Wolverine, who unfortunately doesn't always have the memories that the Predator has because of all the mind wipes. And now, like I said, we've got the present day story and we got the Muramasa story where now the Predator has returned, skull on his head because Wolverine took the mask. I do believe that this part of the story takes place just post like World War II. And where is it going to go? That's the thing. I don't know. I haven't read this yet. So we're going to learn, we're going to get my reaction and review to the events of this book and whether or not they stick the landing when we're done going panel to panel with this last issue. So without further ado, let's get into the book. But again, if you've made it this far, and I'm so bad with self-promotion, if you like what we're doing here on the channel, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, hit the bell, all of that jazz. And let's get to starting talking about the final issue of Predator versus Wolverine. Oh, and I guess I should say the reason I haven't read this yet is because when I was late to the party on this, for some reason, the 4th issue is the hardest one to come by. It's not like I can't find it somewhere, but I just didn't want to wait for it to come in the mail. And I didn't feel like getting charged like $12 for one solo issue of a book. So I ended up just getting the whole series on my Kindle. That's why it's the first time I'm reading this. Otherwise, I would have totally devoured this book. But anyway, let's read. It's kind of more fun this way too. Let's read Predator versus Wolverine, number 4. Okay, so this is where we left off, right at the end of this, a little extra preview as we now go into the 4th issue, where Muramasa and Wolverine are standing together. Today, we fight together. I had changed several times over since the time we first met. And the Yautja had adapted as well. And here we go. Predator versus Wolverine, number 4. Present day, Canada. I staked the helmet in the meadow like a bait station next to a deer stand. I waited a week. And then he came. He would never stop coming until my head was his. Snicked. Of course, he knew it was an ambush. I was counting on that. I set up an obvious, rudimentary trap. Just enough to give him some sense of danger. And confidence in avoiding it. I needed to get hit. Arr! I needed my blood on the ground. Because once he got a taste of it, and once he got a hold of that helmet, he'd think he'd already won. Whoosh! Suppose I could have rigged the helmet. poisoned the air filter. Hurr! Nested it with a bomb. But over and over again, technology has been the Yautja's failing. He surrendered himself with it, just like he surrounded himself with trophies. I said that wrong. Like a boast or compensation or some shit. To feel right about taking him down. I needed to prove that I was deadlier than the death he wore. Japan, Muramasa's estate. The past. Little help would be nice, Muramasa. Chick, this is not my enemy. Shing! Fuck. If I help you, it will be like the parent who does a child's chore or schoolwork when they whine. You will never learn. This thing has clearly been studying your claws, your fighting style, and the martial arts. I'm detecting everything from Shorin Ryu to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Someone is going to die today. Let us see who is the better student. If you die, I'll forge your soul into a sword, and if this thing dies, it will make a worthy substitute. Old Muramasa always wanted to put souls in swords. Either way, I'll be entertained. But remember, Logan-san, if you truly want to know you're the best, keep your claws and your anger sheathed. Okay, so then we have, like, again, a new technique. Sometimes a smell in a cabinet or a song on the radio can bring back a lost memory. The sight of the bear skull helmet and those claws, it blew some of the dust out of my skull. I remember the hibernating grizzly. I remember luring the young Yautja into that cave. That armor, that regalia of his, it's a statement. No different than the Comanches wearing war paint or the berserkers draping themselves in wolf pelts. He's been waiting all this time in the cold black cave of space, and he's rising up now to pull me into his jaws and finish things as they began. Fuck this. We're doing things my way. Snicked, snicked. Come on, let's go. Claw to claw. Schwack, schwack. The fuck you going to hide? Get back here. Don't you run away from me. Logan-san. That thing was not running away from you. He didn't come here to fight me any more than he came here to fight your enemies. I'm sure you two will meet again, assuming we survive the hand. Okay. So I at first here thought maybe he backed off because he wanted like a fight. But instead it's because the hand got involved, which I'm not sure how I feel about that. It feels kind of like, I don't know. Like, I don't know how I feel about that. Westchester, New York, the past. My enemies saved me in Japan. But it was my friends who trapped me in New York. Wolverine. You missed the dinner with the students. Again. Sorry, Chuck. Gotta make my rounds. I'm not exaggerating when I say they spend half the meal looking at your empty chair, especially Kitty and Kurt. They're better off with me out here. Couldn't you take a night off from keeping us all safe? Oh shit, he's got the laser sights on him. I do like the art style too. This is another art style. I got a long trail of bodies behind me. Most are enemies. Some are friends. All right, so he's come to the school now. So this is different. I did not expect this. My skin don't scar, but my heart sure does. I try not to get close to anybody. I try not to call any place home for long, because death always finds me. That's a pretty cool shot. Coom, 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 coom. I stupidly let myself believe Westchester was an exception. Logan, what's happening? We're under attack. Get the professor someplace safe. Where are you going? Those missiles hit the upper floors. That's where the kids will be. Head downstairs. Do not go outside. Anybody up here? Kitty. Kitty, you okay? Logan? Look out! Bamf. Kurt, no. Go away. Excellent suggestion. Bamf. Damn it, Elf. Stay the fuck out of this. That goes for all of you. Keep away from me. Kind of looks like Sam Nee's art. But this is definitely taking place in the new, like the beginning, I'd say the new beginning of the New Mutants era. It's Danny Moonstar in the background. Definitely. Maybe Excalibur has just started around this time, because she's Shadowcat in this. But this is definitely like around, in that like early 80s. Mid to early 80s. But Logan, you don't have to do this alone. I don't want your help, Nightcrawler. This just proves what I always knew. I shouldn't be here. Logan! Rogue, that you? Logan, what should I do? Oh boy. I really don't think this is canon. But whatever. They never talk about this. But I guess they couldn't, right? Nothing. You should do nothing. Snacked. I can touch him. If I take off my gloves, I can touch him. I can... No! You got me, okay? Just don't hurt her. Don't hurt anyone else. You got me. Thunk. I hadn't given up, but I'd given up fighting him here. We could take this to the stars, as far away from these kids as possible. Yeah, I mean, this can't be canon. They burned the school down again. I want them to bring this up. I want them to send to go, hey man, I'm not the guy who brought the fucking alien, Terminator down here and burned down the school in the early 80s. Hey, Bob. Sick. You sure you got the right guy? Ooh. I'm double the trouble. Danny, You shouldn't have. Ugh. You shouldn't have come. Oh, wow, okay. Guten Tag. Bamf. You're supposed to study your prey for weaknesses and vulnerabilities. A soft underbelly, a nest of eggs. The Yautja had found mine. It was the friends and chosen family I had found among the X-Men. But they also turned out to be my strength. The Yautja managed to cloak himself and scramble back to his ship, but I couldn't let something like that happen again. Okay, I like it. They came after him, and it makes me think of what's going on in Ultimate Wolverine, where in issue #1, when Nightcrawler's he had been taken captive, and he's like, we kept trying to rescue you. Like, he's the guy that they would go for, like he's sacrificed and he's hurt so much for them. Like, yeah, this makes sense. But again, it's a fun story that is appearing to be more and more non-canon, but more of in the spirit of these characters. Present day, Canada. So I lured him back to a place where it would just be the two of us. The river is where I would make my last stand. The good mud waited for us here. A dog can smell 100,000 times better than a human. Bees can see ultraviolet light. Birds can sense magnetic fields. I'd observed the Yautja long enough to know he registered heat signatures. The mud was my primitive version of a cloaking device. I gave him a blind eye. Man, Wolverine has been getting his eyes popped out in like every book I've been reading lately. When I leaped down on him then, it was with the gravity of 100 years of war. Oh, shit. He just snicked right through him. Oh, yeah. Great. That's so cool. I admired him as much as I hated him. I imagine the feeling was mutual. Yeah, probably. Keeps coming after you. He cooked me with a few thousand volts and whipped out what looked like a ceremonial dagger to finish the job. All right. I let him make a sheath of me. We would end this eye to eye, tasting the blood in each other's breath. Very saber-toothed Wolverine, just pow, 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 pow. For a fatal moment, we were one and the same. I thought that was the end. But he refused to die on my terms. I didn't recognize the numbers, but I knew a countdown when I saw one. He was going to get that trophy, even if he claimed it in his grave. But here's the thing about desire. Once you get what you want, you realize that wanting was the real pleasure. So in those final bloody seconds when the hunt finally ended, I hope he felt a century of disappointment slam into his heart. Boom! Not sure how many days passed, but when I finally pulled myself out of that smoking crater, I felt like a lit cigar crushed out in an ashtray. There was an emptiness inside of me. Took me a while to realize where it came from. I missed having him out there. Nothing makes you feel more alive than a gun pressed to your temple or the cold lick of a knife at your neck. Damn. So I was going to be a little deader every day I lived without him coming for me. At least he left me a dangerous trophy. I see my reflection in its blade. I'll remember its keen edge every day of my damned life. End. Oh, variant cover by Peach Momoko. All the different variants. The Scotty Young one is the one I have for number 1 in the bottom left, second from the left. All the different variants. That I really like. Oh my gosh, I want that bad. Josh Cassara. I think I probably saw it and it was probably gone. All right. So, bickety bam. That is the end of Predator versus Wolverine. And I gotta say, like, okay, we're going to talk about sticking the landing. Well, there isn't, the way it just ends, there's not really a lots of deeper meaning. It's just a walk down memory lane showing the different ways that Wolverine has lived and how he's gotten through them while this Predator has been stalking him for over 100 years. And I like how it still in this issue, right? It shows the aspects of like that teamwork that he didn't want, like why the X-Men were good for him, why he feels always that guilt of being around them when this thing's been coming after him. And again, canon or not, right? It still is about the character. And Percy has always been able to nail Wolverine, and getting to see him take a walk throughout the years with this Predator along for the ride has been a lot of fun. In the end, that's what these books they don't have to all be saying the most deep things, right? But they should say something about the characters, at least, that live in them. Give them something. Did he grow in this? I'd say it's more of a reminder about the spirit of Wolverine and like the Predator never quite being able to understand, like, and he tries to blow themselves up. He's like, I'm gonna take you with me, still not understanding. So maybe there's something there that this thing studied him for over 100 years. And I think one of the things when we talk about, like in a lot of books, when they need the hero to stand up and rise and face their enemy, right? This is kind of what they're talking about, what the enemy can never know, what the enemy won't ever understand, and the heart and the drive and the spirit of something. And in this case, the powers that he keeps coming. He's the best there is at what he does. And sometimes what he does, takes him a little while to recover from. He has to sit in a crater, but he's the one that's alive. We didn't see a body, so who knows? But I'm going to take it on some sort of look, comic book faith. I don't know. They can always bring this guy back, like just in Predator versus Wolverine round 2. This time, I don't know. But if they don't, great. This was a lot of fun. When I now compare it to the other things that I was doing for Wolverine and what it means, this is still going to be. This is better than. I'd say this is better than both Madripoor Nights and Wolverine Deep Cut, but not. Boy, again, between Wolverine Revenge and this, it's another kind of toss-up. But anyway, that's it. I did read the first issue of Predator versus Black Panther. I'm not sure I'm going to cover that story. I want to read more of it before I decide to, because it's just not hitting me the same. I do like where he's going with it, but I really am curious about Predator versus Spider-Man. We're definitely going to be I'm definitely reading it, and hopefully I'll be talking about it with you guys. So anyway, that's it. We are done, and we're going to be moving on and adding new comic series to the channel as we finish up these Wolverine stories. We're going to be bringing more comic stuff. So if you like, again, what we're doing here on the channel, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, hit the bell for all notifications, all that jazz. And we'll see you on the next video, bubs. Bye. Let's fucking go. Ba 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 bum. Ba bum 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 bum. bum, 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 bum.